Number 135 in the Radiance range, and their latest UHD is In My Skin from 2002, a film that gets lumped in with the French extremity movement and is something I would say, yeah, it kind of fits into that, but it's definitely its own thing. And I got to say, it's one of those ones that really affected me while watching it. And I've seen a lot of these movies, and very rarely do they have an effect like In My Skin did. It's all set around about this character, Esther, who is at a party one night. She injures her leg in some industrial supplies outside, and she doesn't notice. She goes to the bathroom and is fascinated by this huge wound that is on her leg. And as her job career advances, as her life with her boyfriend becomes kind of normalised, she becomes really obsessed with her wound. And what begins as a fascinating sort of self-discovery, self-mutilation, and exploration of bodily boundaries, Esther's fixation strains her identity, her relationships, her work life, her sanity. And it's all captured through a wonderful performance by Marina. Now, she is the writer, the director, and the star, and is based on kind of autobiographical elements. She self-harmed, and she brought that into the story itself. And it's that performance, it's the seeing her lost in exploration that became unsettling for me. Never disgusting or outright gross. It never showed you too much. But it was that look of her as she was exploring her own body in a destructive way that became really unsettling, upsetting, and deeply scarring for myself as well as the character.
Comment je dois le prendre là? C'est insupportable pour moi de voir ça. Tu me dis rien là, c'est pas possible que t'aies rien à dire.
Je t'ai dit, j'ai eu envie. J'ai pas réfléchi, je sais pas pourquoi, j'ai fait une connerie, je la referai pas.
And it has that idea of bodily horror and as a psychological obsession. Her fascination with pain, or the absence of it, how physical injury can influence her identity, how she deals with shame along this, because it's something that she at first starts to express with people as though it's something to be proud of, and as she sees their disgust and worry, she starts to hide it and become more introverted about that.
Après, j'ai été mandaillée dans le débarras près des archives. Ce débarras a encore mon bureau. Avec leur climatisation, on va pas ouvrir une fenêtre, j'étouffe.
Which I think is the precursor to many other movies that would influence later on as well. I'm thinking most along the lines of Raw. I think she really alienates herself, and it's watching this character as she pulls back from friends, as she pulls back from her boyfriend, as she makes sabotage-like decisions within her work life. She's really starting to just withdraw from life itself. And I think that's really kind of shocking in its own side. The self-isolation and the self-destruction as she mutilates herself is horrifying. There's not a lot of real narrative to this one. It's more just of a character just slowly digressing in her life. One of the most fascinating things is her cutting a piece of skin from herself and then trying to find a way to preserve it, to look at it, to study it, to have a kind of comforting factor of having that piece with her. It has a really interesting visual style as well, which I really love. Lots of close-ups. Lighting emphasises the wound. It never gives you overly clear looks at it, at the flesh or the body. You know, it lingers on parts of the body, but just never really the wounds. Sometimes it's really clinical in detail, but sometimes it knows that less is more, and it focuses on that. Lots of close-ups, like I said, of the main character Esther and her lost in fascination as she deals with this kind of thing. Absolutely horrifying and yet great movie. It's unsettling, the tension between the eroticism, the pain or lack thereof it's kind of repulsive but fascinating, the same way that the character is repulsed and fascinated by what's going on, and the film really revels in that discomfort. Oh yeah. Although it is part of the French extreme movement, it's not really. It's more an introverted character study of someone who's dealing with certain traumas in certain ways, and I think for that alone it is fascinating. Now this has a 4K restoration that was done by Severin Films. Now I've seen Severin 4Ks before. They're generally pretty great, and the transfer here is wonderful. Unfortunately, you can see every bit of detail in some of the wounds, and you can actually see the textures, and it just makes it a little bit more intense, which I'm not too sure is a good thing when it comes to this kind of movie. Yeah. Let's dive into the disc, have a look at the extras. Here we are in the disc for In My Skin. Let's go to the special features. First up, we have an audio commentary by writer, director and star Marina Devan. Next up, we have Marina Devan. In this newly filmed interview, director, writer and star of the film, Marina Devan discusses her experiences with self-harm and how they came to inspire the film, as well as her experience of the production and the film's legacy, an ongoing association with the new French extremity. Filmed exclusively for Radiance in March 2025. It runs for 26 minutes 20 seconds, and it's great to see her talking about this film, the idea of getting it made, the kind of star that they tried to put into it, her pushing back and creating the film, and how it was based on her experiences and ultimately casting herself as the star. Next we have Pierre Barougier. In this newly filmed interview, director of photography Pierre Barougier talks about his experiences working on In My Skin and the film's distinctive look, filmed exclusively for Radiance in March 2025, and this runs at 21 minutes 52 seconds. Next we have Marc Adjadj. In this newly recorded audio interview, renowned acting coach Marc Adjadj discusses his initial introduction to Marina Devan and his mentorship of her before and during the filming of In My Skin, created exclusively for Radiance in 2025. Now I enjoyed this one because it was a little bit different hearing from someone who isn't really part of the film but had an effect on the film. Next we have two student short films, Bien sous tout rapport. In Marina Devan's first student film for La Femis, a young couple are interrupted by a moment of intimacy. In Marina Devan's first student film for La Famille, a young couple are interrupted by a moment of intimacy by the girl's parents, who have advice they want to share with her. Now this runs at 11 minutes 33 seconds and, well, needs to be seen to be believed. Hard to believe that it's a student film. Incredibly funny, awkward and just unsettling. Next we have Retention. This is the second of Marina Devan's student shorts. A young woman walks around her apartment and begins to feel ill. And this runs at 15 minutes 10 seconds and may be the best ASMR video I've ever seen. It's just all about sounds, how she's feeling the creation of dizziness within the character. Next we have Manuela Lazic. In this newly filmed interview, writer Manuel Lazic provides a critical look at Marina Devan's work in My Skin, analysing her as both a performer and a filmmaker. Produced exclusively for Radiance in June 2025. And it runs for 12 minutes 5 seconds, and it is a really good critique, just letting you into some of the themes, some of the ideas, some of the complications of the story. Next we have Bleed Like Me. This is a visual essay created by Morena de Fuego and Amy Eyre. The interplay between eroticism and violence in Marina Devan's cinema of transgression is examined, created exclusively for Radiance in July 2025. and runs for 10 minutes 39 seconds. And it's one of those visual essays where there's a little bit of narration, there's text on screen, it's showing you images that really merge well with the text on screen and just highlighting their points. Then we have the trailer. Also included in this set is a 24-page booklet, one that has 2 essays in it. It has The Mind-Body Problem, Intimacy and Disconnection in Marina Devan's In My Skin by Savina Petkova, and Eating Death by Marina Devan, a kind of short story. This is included here as well. That's the extras for In My Skin. There we have it, In My Skin. I mean, I recommend it, but with a caveat of don't have a big meal before you watch it. It's just, and be careful. It is just, uncomfortable deeply. It's good for fans of body horror, fans of new French extremity, boundary pushing cinema. It's kind of essential that way. The technical work done on this is terrific, as I would expect no less, and it is a film that benefits from being seen. Yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts on In My Skin. Let me know in the comment box below whether you love it, hate it, or fall somewhere in the middle. As always, there is more content up here. You can see more of my stuff. In the description box below are links to Patreon, membership program, and manvfilm.com. Always in which you can support me. Thanks for watching. See you next time.